is no logic to this guy's ability. All he does is yell guts and some random explosion happens. How is this guy an Esper? He acts like he's a superhero from One Punch Man or something. Well, have no fear, because I'll be explaining Sogiita's mysterious ability with its many unique applications. Does this insane power have any logic to it? And what is the hidden secret behind this power and his ultimate potential? Sogiita Gunha is the lowest ranked level 5 Esper in Academy City, placing at number 7, but is by no means the weakest. You could say his power is amazing. Sogiita is not to be underestimated, as his strength is so great, he can make even the number 3 level 5 Misaka Mikoto look useless. But what is this strange power? Unlike other Esper powers, we don't even know the name of the ability, and it seemingly has a countless amount of possible applications, making it akin to Sogiita having multiple powers, which is normally impossible for Espers via conventional means. He is also fueled by his manic obsession with guts. No, not that Guts, although I'm sure they would love to meet one day. Guts as in having fearless determination. This feeling of guts within Sogiita allows him to seemingly ignore the laws of physics. One example is his famous technique known as attack crash. Sogiita claims he can create a wall of telekinesis, which he can then destroy via a punch, causing a colourful explosion, which makes absolutely no sense. But it's amazing, hence why he gave it the name Amazing Punch. Not exactly the most creative name for a technique, but it works. And by channeling even more guts, or just focusing the power within his body, Sogiita can launch an even stronger version of the technique known as the Super Amazing Punch, which appears to be Sogiita's strongest attack that we have seen so far. He can also add other similar adjectives to the name of the punch, although I'm not quite sure if this changes anything. Beyond his trademark technique, Sogiita has enhanced physical attributes that surpass both those of normal humans and Espers, as he is able to move at supersonic speeds, and was arguably faster than Astral Buddy boosted Hokage Junko, who could react to and dodge augmented natural beams of light heading straight towards her. It goes without saying that Sogiita has gains, being able to throw Toma around like a ragdoll, and tanking attacks that any normal human would instantly die from. He even survived a gunshot to the heart and seemed unfazed, and then he is also able to regenerate from this and other injuries like broken bones. And of course, it's thanks to Guts he is able to do this. Is there anything Guts can't solve? Evidently not, as Sogiita can also walk in the air, amplify his voice, and can even break out of Shokuho Misaki's mind-controlling ability known as Mental Out. He was even able to create a wall of pressure in this stance where he brings his hands to the ground. The pressure was able to hold back 5.3 Misaka's Black Lightning, but not without massive strain to Sogiita. He had to tap into his full power as it was causing physical damage to his body, holding it back long enough so Toma could approach Misaka. Sogiita also has a counter to electrical attacks known as Aurora Guard, where he uses the Earth's electromagnetic field as a force field which can defend against electric-based powers such as Misaka's attacks. This may also explain how Sogiita was able to defy the laws of physics by punching Misaka's lightning spear to the ground. Now, I'm saving the last known applications of his power for later, as first, I think it's important to briefly discuss his fight versus the man who should have become a magic god known as Olorus in Index Side Story 2. I do want to make a full video about this fight, so subscribe and comment below if you'd like to see a summary of it. Sogiita is confronted by Olorus, who wields a mysterious unknown power, which is impossible to understand, similar in that aspect to Sogiita's guts, I guess. There are two very interesting things about the fight, which I believe has huge connotations for the secret behind Sogiita's power. Number 1, him being unable to defend himself from Olorus's Odin's throne, or Hijaska what? And number 2, Olorus hinting that Sogiita's potential might be close to a god. The god of guts? As I referenced before, Olorus's Odin's throne seems to ignore logic itself, with it being impossible to comprehend, especially for an airhead like Sogiita. So this attack cannot be defended against, as Sogiita seems no match for it, due to it being an invisible force that cannot be detected or perceived. Keep this in mind for later. Then Olorus talks about Sogiita's power and possibly hints at his ultimate potential. "There is no major difference between us," muttered Olorus as he relaxed. "One of us is aware that we wield an unexplainable power, and the other isn't. That is the only real difference between us. You are the delicate yet complex number 7, that not even the Academy City researchers could do anything about. In fact, you're a special Esper that they aren't even sure should really be classified as a level 5. If you understood that about yourself, you may have been able to defeat me." With Olorus essentially being a failed magic god, in order to surpass him, Sogiita would likely need to have the power of a full god equivalent to that to be able to defeat him. And Olorus mentions that Sogiita isn't aware of his own power, which is what ultimately stops him from reaching his maximum potential. It is a bit of a strange comment, since how the hell is Sogiita unaware of his love for guts? Or does it simply mean something else? I believe this is contextualized and makes sense after reading the Astral Buddy manga. In this side story, Hokage Junko and Yuri Senya theorize that Sogiita's strength comes from his delusions, that being a Chunibyo, or someone who uses crazy ass delusions to make themselves stand out by claiming to have some kind of hidden power, is actually real for Sogiita. By acting like a superhero wannabe, obsessed with guts, the more he is convinced by his own guts and inner power, the stronger he is. This extends to him being able to shrug off powerful attacks, which we have seen many times before, and even being able to copy other abilities and use them as his own. Yep, Sogiita can seemingly use abilities of other Espers he sees, like how he was able to use electricity after fighting Junko, which is absolutely insane. What's stopping Sogiita from copying Accelerator's power, or Kakina's, or whoever? There is, of course, a catch. Sogiita has to understand what he's facing in order to resist it, or copy it with guts. If he is unable to comprehend the power of what's in front of him, then he is completely vulnerable. And with Sogiita likely being the dumbest out of the level 5s, it definitely adds an element of limitation for his ability to adapt. As yeah, I don't see Sogiita being able to understand the more complicated Esper powers and magic in the series. Like, I don't think he has a clue what a vector is. Now, let's link this back to Olorus, since Odin's throne was completely out of Sogiita's depth in terms of understanding it, no amount of guts would help him defend against it. If Sogiita understood the technique, however, the fight might have gone very differently, which is what Olorus may have been alluding to. Let's now talk about the hidden secret behind Sogiita's schizophrenic ability. It is revealed in the novels that Esper powers, or the personal reality behind them, are essentially the manifestation of the true will in the religion or philosophy of Thelema, founded by the board chairman of Academy City, Aleister Crowley. But what is the true will? It is defined either as a person's grand destiny in life, or as a moment-to-moment path of action that operates in perfect harmony with nature. True will does not spring from conscious intent, but from the interplay between the deepest self and the entire universe. While Sogiita is a natural esper, or a gemstone, meaning his power is less related to real science and shares similarities with magic, and therefore his power was not developed under Alistair's framework, the Flamer stuff should still apply. This is because Aiwaz was the key component which led Alistair to found Flamer in the first place, and has connections to all espers and the pure world itself, where the first gemstones emerged. I believe that Sogiita has not fully achieved his true will, that his power is the first stepping stone for it, but due to his own current mental state, he is unable to become his perfect ideal self. Sogiita does not understand the universe, as he is just focused on training harder and getting more guts, I guess. If he did have that knowledge, then he would likely be able to apply his delusions to everything, which would likely make him nearly unstoppable. Like, imagine Sogiita with accelerators or Alistair's IQ and experiences. Sogiita's true will is likely becoming the invincible superhero of guts, who is unfazed by any challenge, and through sheer determination can conquer any obstacle in his way. While Sogiita's obsession no doubt helps power his ability, it's a double-edged sword, as it makes Sogiita completely reliant on his delusions without trying to comprehend anything beyond what's familiar to him. Maybe this is why Alistair ranks Sogiita at number 7, as while he is stronger than other level 5s higher than him and has a stupid amount of potential if he realized his true will, Sogiita's own mental cycle is what is preventing him from getting to the point where he can defeat Olorus. I honestly think this concept is fascinating, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Make sure you check out my other level 5 Esper videos on screen right now, and for more Sogiita and other Espers you know and love.